So here I am today. I'm undercoating my truck and my trailer. This has been the savior of both vehicles. My big cargo trailer is now 20 years old, and you rarely see one that old on the road that is not rotted away. So mine is doing quite well. In any case, I wanted to share with you what I do to make my undercoating mix. So I've got a hot plate here. You can probably see it there. That's just a little individual hot plate. And I have it in the garage. I use it for a number of different things. But I put oil from an oil change, like used oil in there. I get it nice and hot. And I just buy grease, just general purpose grease by the tub. And I pick that up at Canadian Tire. And I take that grease and I put it into the oil just with a spatula. Once I've got it in there, it has to be hot, and then I mix it with this one of my wife's old mix masters. It's been used for a million things in the garage. Super handy tool in the garage. So I mix it up and it turns it to a real soupy mix that will flow really well when it's hot, but when I spray it, it will stay put and it won't drip. So I've been using this for quite some time. One of my other tricks is to pick up a toilet gasket, which is wax. And when you stick that in there and melt it, it's also just a fantastic concoction. It's a real soft, like these things, if you've ever repaired one, it's like a beeswax. In any case, that in there does a wonderful job as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get the grease in here and get it ready as it's hot, and then I'll show you when I mix it what it looks like. So things are starting to get hot here. So I've thrown in a fair bit of grease. So I'm going to start to run the mixer, and you'll see it's flowing, and you can see it's starting to melt. It flows and it'll never look completely smooth, but it'll get smoother the longer you mix it. It's impossible, I've found, to just mix it properly without something like this. But if the oil's not hot, it's not going to mix. So you can already see that the texture of it is completely changed. When I stir it, it somewhat settles quickly. So there's probably equivalent of tube and a half or 2 tubes of grease in there. That's probably about what I normally use, but it's totally dependent on volume and how sticky you want it. When I'm spraying this concoction, anything I undercoat, I bought this gun at one of the local automotive stores. It takes the air fitting off the compressor. And I have several tips for it. One is 2 that are on hoses several feet long. One is for doing inside doors and compartments. The other one is a handheld unit you can turn for just getting difficult areas. So 90% of what I'm doing, I do this. I made my own tip. That's just a piece of 3/8 brake line in there that I clamped in, just a piece of fuel line or transmission line hose, and I just squeezed it in the vise tight, and it sprays really nice but high volume. So that's what I use when I'm spraying most of the time, as well as the tip that came with it. So you can see it's smoking and bubbling here. I'm going to stir this up a little more and then get ready to apply it. So you want to be careful, obviously, when you're dealing with this now, that you don't spill it on yourself or something, because it's extremely hot. So I have this cheap pot I picked up at a buck store or somewhere, and it's got the dumping labels on it. So I use a funnel, and I basically stick the funnel in my filler there, and I dump the concoction in. You can see from previous use, after it's sprayed and cooled off, it doesn't flow. So that's kind of the trick to this whole thing. So anyway, I'm going to give it another stir before I dump it, and I'll fill up my spray bottle. So here we go. I'm just spraying it on underneath. You'll see that you can do a test first, and if it's not sticky enough, not thick enough, just add a little more grease. Also, if you have leftover oil in your gun when you start, obviously the first few shots are going to drip. But I like it to be thin enough that it will soak in to the rust, not just stick. I want it to soak in and hopefully not drip. And that's just about what this consistency is. If you found this useful, please like and subscribe. Thanks.